We routinely receive various communications, space garbage to decode and examine. They look something like this. It's radio waves and gibberish, Agent Cooper, till Thursday night. Friday morning, to be exact.
Around the time that I was shot.
The readout took us by surprise. Row after row of gibberish, and all of a sudden, the owls are not what they seem.
Why did you bring this to me?
Because later in the morning, Cooper. Cooper. Cooper.
My God.
The Mystic Raven. It's the one detail from the Abyss trailer that I keep coming back to. This bird of shadow, the purple eye, watching, unfazed, glowing the same purple as the Abyss. The Raven's presence speaks volumes on the role it might play in the narrative. And the more I review the trailer, the more I begin to ask myself, could the Raven be the key to understanding the villain or the big bad in Lost Records Bloom and Rage? The big bad, the topic that has eluded the community for months now. We know that the girls stumble across something cryptic in the woods, and we know that something happens to them. Something so haunting, so unforgivable, that they promise not to speak to each other ever again until they're forced to confront the dark secrets of their past 27 years later. Countless theories have surfaced about what the girls may have encountered that night. Hypnotism, mind control, and the most popular consensus, aliens. The devs have been keeping their cards close, showing us just enough to fuel speculation while the truth remains shrouded in mystery. It is still very early, honestly too early to know exactly what's going on, but I've begun to notice patterns, details that might help unravel what our girls encountered that night, and possibly even why this happened to them. But before I get into the significance of the Raven, I want to clarify that this theory is based on pure observation, developer interviews, and what media influences have helped inspire Lost Records. My goal here is to contextualize the narrative that we know so far. It's common opinion that ravens are creepy. I mean, a flock of them is literally called an unkindness, but they are also the most intelligent bird species. Because of this, ravens are considered to be oracles in many ancient cultures, sacred messengers of prophecy, keepers of secrets, and communicators of deep mysteries. Ravens symbolize wisdom and transformation, the link between mortal and divine. Their duality allows them to transgress the veil between worlds, embodying both death's harbinger and the genesis of rebirth. The raven beckons you to delve into the depths of the human psyche. It is the shadow archetype, the unconscious, repressed desires, instincts, and most importantly, memories. Some could say that the raven is simply a bad omen, but I think it has a much darker purpose. I think that this raven, one of many that we see being consumed by the tunnel of light at the end of the trailer, is being used to scry. Whatever this creature may be, whether a cosmic entity or supernatural being, it would make sense that it possesses a level of power and advantage, capable of inducing a level of fear that swore these girls to secrecy, into complete silence, until it reared its head nearly 3 decades later. The most popular lore surrounding the raven is the story of the Norse god Odin. His 2 ravens, Hugin and Munin, or thought and memory, would fly across the realms each day, gathering information and reporting back to Odin. Twin Peaks, one of the main inspirations for both Lost Records and Life is Strange, had a similar concept.
The owls are not what they seem.
The owls are not what they seem. In Twin Peaks, the Nez Perce tribe, who once inhabited the region the show takes place in, told stories of what was known as the White Lodge and its shadow self, the Black Lodge. The White Lodge was described as a place of goodness, the home of spirits that ruled over man and nature, while the Black Lodge was a cross between hell and purgatory, the dwelling place for evil entities. Many fans of the show interpret the owls as being vessels for these entities, the eyes and ears of the lodge, watching the town and reporting on its inhabitants. The Owl Cave held the secret to entering the Black Lodge, or in other words, the tunnel served as an entry point, a gateway to one's own personal hell. In the Abyss trailer, the ravens are circling right above the crater before one lands on the hood of the car, watching Autumn with purpose. I also want to point out here that Autumn's expression doesn't look like one of fear or confusion, but recognition. Has she seen this before? Perhaps this could explain the package in the present day. I was there. Maybe "See You in Hell" isn't just referring to the song Bloom & Rage made together in Nora's garage, but the tunnel in the woods, the gateway portal to hell. The gateway would explain the pattern I've noticed with all the circular motifs throughout the game's marketing, the graffiti in the park, the placement of the O in the Lost Records logo, and the circles drawn all over the package. But what about the close-ups of Swann's eye? And why exactly is the logo placed directly over her eye? My original theory was that Swann could have some form of clairvoyance, and if she does have a power, I do still think this is a possibility. But now I begin to wonder if it's not just about what Swann sees, but what the entity wants her to see. Perception manipulation. What if this supernatural being has the power to distort reality, to alter what we see around us? Could this be the effect of the purple light and electromagnetic interference? Is this the reason the lights go out? Why Swann's camcorder suddenly takes a life of its own? And why Swann can't remember what she filmed the night before? Could this be why the girls are seemingly stuck in a burning building, the door jammed as fire rages around them? Yet there is no mention of a fire in the newspaper articles. In a small town like Velvet Cove, a giant forest fire would surely make the paper and would likely be the talk of the town for quite some time. Yet headlines discuss the town's summer festival, boat races, and excitement for hunting season. Maybe the reason the girls were so terrified was because they saw firsthand what this monster was capable of. This may have caused them to get freaked out, run away, and leave someone behind. You could say that this is baseless, but knowing that both Stephen King's It and The Craft were two influences for the game makes me wonder how much of a stretch this could be. And I'm not saying that there's going to be a dancing clown running through Velvet Cove, or that Swann's going to hocus pocus and whip out a wand or something. But these influences clearly explain the more sinister undertones of Lost Records. In Stephen King's It, Pennywise is a master of perception manipulation. It feeds on the fear and emotional vulnerability of the children in the town of Derry. It targets the Losers Club, a band of social misfits who are belittled and alienated due to various trauma, the consumption of grief, domestic conflict, bullying, violence. These things make the children prime targets for Pennywise, who thrived on their isolation to exploit their fears. But when the losers were together, Pennywise was powerless against them. They found confidence in themselves, in their bond, and their ability to confront their trauma, and eventually it too, both as kids and when they reunited 27 years later as adults. This is also paralleled in The Craft. Each of the four girls desire something that they don't have and use a coven ritual to achieve it. Each desire a means to overcome a deep insecurity, whether it be beauty, love, power, or revenge. They realize that they are stronger together, a force against adversity, but are eventually corrupted by their own power, becoming shadows of their former selves. In order to put this evil to rest, they must see through the veil of deception and manipulation. This same concept is reflected in Lost Records. Swann is subjected to bullying and seems to struggle with insecurity. Kat is reluctant to talk about her home life, and if my theory about Corey being her older brother is correct, we may see themes of domestic conflict. We're still learning about Nora and Autumn, but the hands-on previews did offer some insight. Nora's parents are divorced. They essentially don't care. And this is why Bloom and Rage are free to jam out in Nora's garage all day without consequence. This suggests that Nora may crave a sense of belonging, and that playing in the band isn't just a hobby, but offers respite from feelings of loneliness and displacement. I believe that this entity will use these emotional vulnerabilities as a catalyst for corruption. The ravens, used as scrying tools to monitor the girls, represent the supernatural, manipulative forces at play in Velvet Cove, an unseen horror that will influence the events to come. Now, it's completely possible that Don't Nod has cooked up something entirely new and different here that we've never seen before, and honestly, I am fully expecting them to pull the rug out from under us. But still, I can't help but consider the implications of what this could all mean. Could we actually be dealing with a darker narrative? I mean, Life is Strange 1 and 2 were pretty dark, but Lost Records seems to be bordering on supernatural dark. Things like losing a character as we progress through the story due to choices, a multitude of endings depending on morality or who survives, and how we form relationships. I'm not expecting them to go full Until Dawn, and the story very well may be focused on suspense and psychological elements rather than like monsters from the abyss. But knowing Don't Nod, knowing the depth of their choice and consequence system, the possibilities make me feel so excited, guys. We know firsthand that these devs do not believe in plot armor and love making us cry, so... Okay, one last thing. Completely reaching, grasping at straws, all the things, but a final thought. When looking back at the reveal trailer at the scene in the forest where the girls are all running away, everyone except Kat, who seems to be left behind, if the entity is targeting their vulnerabilities, I wonder if this could extend to who goes missing. While the missing person could potentially be someone from Bloom and Rage, I'm beginning to wonder if this person was instead Corey. If Corey is Kat's brother, maybe this is why she's the only one who stayed behind, why she's panicking. It seems like they were attacked while at the bonfire spot. Maybe Corey crashed the party or somehow got involved. If Kat lost her brother to the entity, especially if their relationship was complicated to say the least, it would add an extra layer of nuance to Kat's character and the narrative, their motivations or reluctance to go back to the abyss. Kat would have to face her demons, literally. If Corey isn't Kat's brother and this thing doesn't have powers, then maybe he's just super unhinged, tried to burn the forest down and then got sacrificed to the abyss. I don't know. So, my current theory is that the abyss is a gateway or portal to another world. I'm not completely sure what this world will consist of, if it's the home of the antagonist, like in It, or if it's something much more sinister like the Black Lodge, a dimension of pure evil where we'll be forced to confront the darkest parts of our psyche, an upside down of sorts, a distorted reality where nightmare and wakefulness coexist. The ravens with glowing purple eyes are messengers, a tool of surveillance and manipulation, a reminder of the oppressive forces at work. See you in hell, a reference to this dark place, a sacrifice or incredible loss that the girls can only hope to bury with the passage of time. In the context of the box, possibly even a taunt from the entity, or a sign that whoever went missing is still alive and knows about the band. The purple light, a manifestation of the entity, or maybe an early warning sign for whatever this thing is. Okay, those are all of the theories that I have right now in the Abyss trailer. Let me know what you think in the comments. If I missed anything, or maybe you have something completely different in mind. Maybe you're like, Moon, what are you smoking? Like, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know it's been quite some time since we've had some Lost Records news, but we do have a possible reveal date for when we'll be getting our next trailer or major update. The official Lost Records social media account has hinted at January 9th being a day to look out for. So about 3 weeks from now, we'll likely be getting more info on the game. I will be covering everything Lost Records leading up to release, and we'll be making content on the game once it's finally out. If you found yourself enjoying this video and would like to see more theory videos and breakdowns like this, I'd really appreciate if you could like the video for me. And be sure to hit subscribe to help support the channel. As we get closer to February, there will be some seriously cool things on the horizon, especially as marketing ramps up. I'm honestly already writing down details and Easter eggs, guys. If you're new to Lost Records, feel free to check out any of the other videos I have on Don't Nod's upcoming IP, including more theory videos and trailer breakdowns. Thank you to my channel members for your support, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye bye. Bonus tweet because I thought this was fucking hilarious. Bye guys.